So good evening, welcome. My name is Alicia Atkinson, and as was mentioned, I am the Senior Customer Success Specialist at Let's Go Learn. So your support and involvement in your child's education makes a huge difference in how they succeed in school. So I am so glad to see all of you here. This really is, part of the success for your children. I am a former teacher, and I was also an administrator, and I'm also a parent. So my child also uses Let's Go Learn. I've used it in the classroom. So I know how valuable this information is for each family, for the students and for the teachers. And we want to be able to convey that to you. And I want to also just thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. I know that you have a lot going on, and school is different now than it has been in the past. So we really appreciate all of your support. So like I said, I also have Linda Zablotsky here. She is going to be actually managing the chat function. So right now we have everybody muted, and I'm going to give the presentation, but I will be stopping for questions periodically. And then Linda will be monitoring the chat to see if there's anything she needs to interrupt me for, needs to tell me to go back, or as I stop for questions, she can present those questions to me. At the very end, we will have an opportunity for you to ask your questions specifically. Also, I did mention this earlier, but I do want to reiterate, this presentation is in English. If you do want to join the Spanish presentation, that is going on simultaneously. And Bridget, if you could put that into the chat again, just so anybody who wasn't here before can connect there if you are in the, if you do want the Spanish presentation. So I'm gonna go ahead and.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. What day is the Spanish presentation?
The Spanish presentation.
Yes.
Ahora.
Okay. Yeah. And the link is in the chat.
27 Pacific Time, Canadá. Ok, porque solo entiendo más en español.
Sí. So yes. So español es en la chat. Okay, so thank you. Yes, we want to make sure that everybody is getting the presentation in the language that we can best provide for you. So we only have English and Spanish available, but we do have both presentations. All right, so welcome once again. So what we're going to be doing today is showing how North Monterey County is working with the teachers, with you as a family, to close the learning gaps using our program called Let's Go Learn. So we want to present to you what to expect, how to help your students or how to help your children. And then like I said, I'll answer any questions, but I want to let you know, what's happening. What are your students working on while they are on the computers? How is the district really looking to help your student? So just a little bit what we're going to be doing. So I'm already introduced myself, and then we're going to talk about, what is Let's Go Learn? So how does that help? Why is your district using Let's Go Learn, and how you can use Let's Go Learn at home? So what this will do for you is give you kind of the know-how, so you really can understand the program, and where you can also know where you can get additional resources. So what is Let's Go Learn? So Let's Go Learn is actually a group of diagnostic assessments. So what that means is our assessments, we are a company that's been around for 20 years. We started out with the purpose of assessing students with the goal of giving teachers what they need to know exactly where children are in their reading and math skills. So what we want to know is, where is your student? where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses, what do they need help with, and what skills can they use to help themselves as they're traveling through their education and learning more about reading and math. So DORA is our reading test. So DORA stands for Diagnostic Online Reading Assessment. And ADAM is our math assessment. So that's our Adaptive Diagnostic Assessment of Mathematics. So these are the two main assessments or tests that your student will be taking. So I do really focus on that these are assessments. They aren't high stakes tests. This is not meant to say, oh, we're not trying to trick your child. We're not trying to get them to, get a specific score. This is meant to find out what your student already knows. So what do your children know already, so that it can help their teacher know what to teach them, as opposed to, we're not hiding any trick answers. We aren't trying to get them to get a specific score. Like I said, we really want to know, where are they? So it's not even testing what they've already learned this year. It's what have they learned throughout all of their years of school, and what have they retained? What information do they already know? So really our goal is to help your student. So what does it cover? So we want to know, what do they know in reading and math? Well, we want to know, what do they know for high frequency words, word recognition, phonics, spelling, vocabulary, and comprehension. So we're looking at very specific skills. And then in math,
Ya lo encontré.
actually looking for anything that they have learned so far. So we cover everything up to algebra for Adam. So if they are in first grade through high school, we want to know, what do they know prior to going into algebra. So if they're in first grade, we want to know, what did they learn already in kindergarten? If they're in high school, what did they learn throughout their elementary and middle school years? So it's specific to your child and what level they're at right now. So we really get very detailed. We do look at measurement, geometry, data, numbers, but we even break it down further. So we look at things like addition, subtraction, fractions, and things like using, measuring length, or how to create a graph. So we have lots of different skills that we're covering in Adam. So the question is, why did North Monterey County choose this particular assessment for your children? So the reason why they chose the Let's Go Learn assessments is because they match with the goals for the district. They are really going to help their teachers identify where students may have had learning loss. With the school closures, we want to make sure that we are teaching children where they're at and helping them close that gap. Anything that they may have missed, we want the teachers to know that, identify that, and then it can help the teachers to close that gap. As well, it provides information where the teachers can track their progress. And we do have, some parent connections, such as this meeting. So we do provide these resources, as well as we have parent resources available on YouTube and directly in your child's Let's Go Learn account. All right, I'm going to pause for just a moment. And Linda, are there any questions that I need to address right now?
Yes, we have a question, and this might be for Bridget. One of the parents said that her student had already taken the assessment, so she was wondering the scheduling of tonight's presentation after the students got started in Let's Go Learn.
Yes, the month of October is typically our assessment time. And so our high school students got started a few weeks ago. And some of our elementary students, as well as our middle school students, and then some are in the middle of it. They're doing it right now. So this is just really a meeting to provide some more information, and yeah, it just happened to be the way it was scheduled. So I
And
don't know
another
if that
great question,
answers
are
your
parents or
question.
teachers giving these tests?
Oh, that's a good question. So I can address that. It's kind of a little bit of both, in that we want to make sure that the teachers are, the teachers are assigning the assessment. But as parents, I will talk about this, what you will need to do to assist your child or to not assist your child. That's also going to be part of what we're going to talk about. So if your child has already taken the assessment, then we'll talk a little bit later about what that means and where you go from here. But we will talk about, if your child hasn't started the assessment already, how you can get them started and how you can support them. So of course, we would want to have this kind of presentation as soon as possible, but we have to, look at the schedule and the parent opportunities and availability. So this was the soonest we could get it going, and hopefully the students will be taking it again. So anything you learn here, you can apply to the next time your child takes the assessment. Okay. So next, let's just get right into it. How does your child access their assessment? So we do have a video. We have 2 videos, and I'll put these links directly into the chat. Oops, it went back on me. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to just highlight this link. Don't need to go to it now, but you might want to go ahead and check this out. Okay. Oh, I do see a really good question. A couple of really good questions in here that I will get to about the adaptive nature of the assessment. Okay. These are some really great questions. I'm sorry, I went into the chat to put in the YouTube video, and I'm reading these questions, and they are, this is the English. So above is a video in English. And then we will, okay, and then I'm going to put the Spanish link just in case you are here and you didn't have a chance to get to the Spanish one, or you have other family members who work with your child who speak Spanish that might want to watch this in Spanish. So, okay. Oops, and I just realized that it only sent to the people in the waiting room. So let's try that again. Send that to everyone. Okay. So that one is for Spanish. And then for English. Let's put this in here. I don't know why it keeps putting the Spanish one instead of the English one. Nope. All right, Lena, can you do me a favor? Can you put the link? I don't know why it won't let me. Here we go.
I'm sorry, you trying to copy the link from the presentation?
I am, but you know what? I did get it. There we go.
Okay.
Just when it kept sending it to the people in the waiting room instead of to everybody.
Okie doke.
So, all right, there we go. So we have the English one is the second link, and the first link is the Spanish link. All right, so let's keep going. So how do you access? And then I'm going to talk about the length of the assessment, because that was a really good question. and I want to address the adaptive nature of it. So in order to log your students in, you will have your child go to letsgolearn.com. And you will click on, and this might be hidden by your video, so you might need to move your video, but in the top right-hand section, there it says login. When you click on login, you will see, you will go to, it'll take you to front end, letsgolearn.com/login. And you can go ahead and log your child in using their username, their password, and their school code. So their username, let me, hold on, give me 1 second because I'm going to stop sharing and pull up the document that has the format for their username. I realize that's on the other, on my other tab. Okay. All right. Okay, so your student's username is going to be their student ID number. So let me go ahead and share that again. All right, so in the username, you'll put their student ID number. So let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their password is going to be the @ symbol. And I'm actually going to put it down here just so you can see it. So it'll be the @ symbol, capital N, or sorry, capital M, nope, N, MCUSD, and then their birth date. So month, day, year. So it's their particular birth date. So that information will go into the password. And then their school code is all lowercase, and it's NMCUSD. So you would enter their password. Like I said, it's their school ID number. Their password is their default password for all the programs, and which is the capital NMUSD, and then their birth date. And then the school code is all lowercase. So it's really important. Everything is case sensitive. So it's important that their school code be sensitive as well, and it's all lowercase.
Alicia, can I just make a comment?
Sure, absolutely, please do.
Check with your teacher also around the password if your child hasn't taken it yet, because some of the teachers have changed their passwords. So just so you guys know, so our parents know, always check with their classroom teacher. Okay.
Great.
And their classroom teacher will have all of this username and password and school code information.
Great. Thank you. That's really useful. So now students can take the assessments anywhere that they have a computer or mobile device. So that is available. And then so now let's say I do log in. So I just want to show you what your child will see. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as a student so that you can see what their what they see. So you have an idea and you can help them. All right. So now what your child sees it is affected by what grade they're in. So if your child is enrolled in a higher grade, they will see something different than if they're enrolled in a lower grade. So I'll show you what it looks like from multiple age levels, just so that you can get an idea of what your child is going to see. So I'm going to start with an example of a second grade student. So let me show that. All right, so if your child is in a younger grade, what they're going to see here is they will see their welcome and their name. They'll actually have the opportunity to change their avatar. So it's automatically a house, but they can change it. Lots of students, that's their favorite part. And then what you will see is their assessments. So for example, here you'll see the green owl for their Dora assessment or for their Adam assessment, you know, holding a book or holding a calculator. Now, for some students, it's possible they may also have some other smaller assessments on there that will be further down, but for right now, they're not going to have that. They will just have these full assessments in Dora and Adam. And so they will click, you know, they click on there, they click on, these students have already started, so this student would click continue, but you would see start if they hadn't started yet. As well, we do have parent help here. So you can click on this parent help, and we do have information available in English and Spanish. So you can click there and get a little bit more detail. And then, all right, then let me show you what it looks like for an older student. So you log out of that student. Okay, so now if you have a student, let's say in upper elementary or middle school or high school, then it's going to look just a little bit different for them, a little bit more simplistic. So what they will see is here. So they will see, as you know, not as fun. They can still change their avatar, but then they'll see their assessments here with that same green, but it just has the letters. Their Adam would be below here, and they would go ahead and click on start to begin. Okay. So now the question is, what can you do? So how can you best support your students? So the first thing is only help your child with the technical aspects of the assessment. And what I mean by that is help them get logged in, but from there, let them be. Do not help them answer questions. So one of the questions in the chat was, this test was really hard. There was material that they had never seen before. That's exactly what we need. We need to find out what they don't know to find out what they do know. We need that right fit. We want to make sure it's like a shoe. We want to make sure it fits perfectly. And we need to know what's a little too big and what's a little too small. So we need to find out what they don't know. So we're going to ask them questions on what they don't know. And what they need to do is, if they don't know the answer, they just click randomly. It's not, if they accidentally guess right, it's not going to increase their score because we ask them questions in sets. But if you help them, if you have them spend a lot of time, you tell them you to really think about this, you even guide them a little bit, they're going, and they get it right that way. And then they move on to the next question and you help them with that a little bit, they get it right, and they've gotten a couple of right on a topic, it's going to just get harder and harder and harder and harder. So what we want you to do is, if they aren't able, if they're frustrated and they don't know an answer, tell them just to guess and just to pick a random one, click on it and move on to the next question. They should never spend more than a minute on any question. So we want to find that right fit, but we don't want a score that's too high. We don't want a score, if you help them and they get a score that's too high, then their instruction is going to miss what they don't know. So the assessment starts them at their grade level. So it'll start with grade level material. If they haven't learned it yet, because it's the beginning of the school year, then they'll move down and they'll see what they learned in previous years. So it's really important to make sure that they are only answering the questions that they know the answers to, because like people noticed, it gets really hard. It asks them questions they don't know. And we absolutely want to be sure that they are not answering correctly because they've gotten guidance. We only want to know what they actually know already. So I'm going to pause just for a moment so I can read the chat